All right, continuing on to question number 6. It says graph the following equation and complete the table. I think I will do that in the opposite order. I think I'm going to complete the table first. So this just says, this is, remember our y equals mx plus b, right? Y equals mx plus b. It's the same thing here. So we're looking at, we have a relationship between two numbers, right? The relationship is this. Take one number, say x, could be any number in the world, could be anything. Subtract 5 from it, and that'll give you your new number. Okay, it's like a magic trick. All right, ready? Here it goes. Think of any number. You got one? Okay, now subtract 5 from it. You got it? Okay, the number you're thinking of is y. All right, pretty lame trick, but that's how it works. All right, so if you happen to pick an x of -5, and then you subtract 5 from it, you'd end up with what? All right, go ahead and write it down right here. What do you get? -5 minus 5. No, really, write it down. Don't wait for me to write it down. Come on. What's -5 minus 5? Okay, so you should get -10, correct? -5 minus 5. Okay, let's try another one. All right, I'm thinking of 0. I'm going to subtract 5. All right, 0 minus 5, what do you get? -5, right? Okay, last one. I choose 10 as x. I'm going to subtract 5, and you get, I think my video, I'm hoping it's going to show up fine. I know on my screen it looks like it's jumping around a little bit. We'll see what the video looks like after we're done. So there we go. Okay, I picked 3 numbers. I picked -5, picked 0, picked 10. I could have picked anything. I could have put 1,000,000, and this would be 999,995. Right? Pick anything you want. But I picked these 3. Now, graphing. Right? There's a couple ways of doing this. I think the easiest way, let me zoom out a little bit so we can see my entire table. Well, I guess that'll work. You can still see it, right? Trying to remember where my little face appears. I think it appears in the corner. My little face. All right, so I'm going to do it the easiest way that I know of, and that's just to plot these points. I'm going to plot the point. This is a coordinated pair, right? What do we call it? Ordered pair. -5, comma, -10. All right? I'm just taking that right off the table. So if I do my x is -5, and I look that up and see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And my y is -10, so I'm going to go down 10. That'd be right here. And put a dot. Beautiful. Okay. Next one. My x is 0. So this is my x. I'm looking for 0. Oh, they're right here. You don't actually see it. But that's 0, right? My y is -5. So that'd be right over here. -5. Put a dot. Bam. Perfect. All right, last one. My x is 10. So I'm looking for 10 right here. My y is 5. So I go up to 5. Put a dot. Beautiful. We're going to graph the equation, which means I'm going to end up connecting these dots. And let's see. I know I have a ruler here behind me real quick. I'm going to grab it. And just because, I like to have my thing nice and neat. But let's see here. I'm trying to get on the screen too so you can see what I'm doing. Basically, I'm just connecting my dots. I like that sound. That's pretty cool. And there, my friends, is our graph. Y equals x minus 5. I will just mention real quick, we'll talk about this next week too a little bit. But something cool about this graph, right? You'll notice, notice my equation, I have a -5, right? This -5 you can also see in my table. It's right here. It happens to be the value when x is 0. It's my initial value. It's called your b, right? We just talked about that. It's also on my graph. You can see your -5. It's right here. It's sometimes next year you'll call it, in 8th grade, you'll call it the y-intercept because it's where your line crosses your y-axis here. It crosses right there at -5. Right, here's my line. Here's my graph. It intercepts. It crosses the y-axis at y equals -5. Right? And the last thing I would just mention is your rate of change. Your rate of change is the number in front of x, right? which there isn't one. So by default, it's how many x's you have. Well, there's one x. So your rate of change is 1, right? Every time your x goes up by 1, your y goes up by 1. If your x goes up by 5, your y goes up by 5. Right? We see that right here. Your x goes up by 10, your y goes up by 10. All right? And that's reflected in, you learn this in 8th grade, what's called the slope of my line, right? Every time I go over a square, actually not really a square, every time I go over a number, I go up a number, right? Every time I get bigger by 1 this way, I get bigger by 1 this way, right? So you can see that in how slanted this line is. Okay, so lots to think about there. Again, we'll be covering this next week, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a primer there. And since I have your undivided attention anyway for the homework, I might as well get my time out of it. I won't take so much time on the next few questions, I promise, where a promise means I'll try really hard. All right, see you for number 7.